On episode 666 of the 40 Plus Fitness Podcast, we talk about some scary stuff for Halloween. You can find the full show notes for this episode at 40plusfitnesspodcast.com/666. Have you decided you're ready to make a change? To reclaim your health and fitness? The 40 Plus Fitness Podcast is here for you. Each week, we dive deep into health and fitness topics that affect those of us over 40. I'm Coach Allen. I'm an NASM certified personal trainer with specializations in corrective exercise, behavior change, performance enhancement, and fitness nutrition. A Precision Nutrition Level 1 coach, a FAI certified functional age-link specialist, and an OTA Level 2 online trainer. Each week, I'm joined by our co-host, Coach Rachel. She is an NASM certified personal trainer and a RRCA Level 1 run coach. Let us be your coaches as you find your way on your health and fitness journey. All right, let's go. We're going into the deep end of eating season. Are you ready to do this one different? Or is it going to be like most years before it? You gain weight and you go into January deeper in the hole. It doesn't have to be that way. And you don't have to go it alone. I've reopened enrollment in the 40 Plus Fitness Laser Coaching Program. This program is the most cost-effective way you have to work one-on-one with me. Get the accountability and the support you need to reach your health and fitness goals. And until November 15th, I'm going to drop the price back down to the founder's price. Go to 40plusfitness.com/laser and use the coupon code SCARY to get $200 off. There are only 5 slots left. If you're ready to get serious about your health and fitness, go to 40plusfitness.com/laser and use the coupon code SCARY to get the founder's price. Hey, Raz, how are you?
Good, Alan. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. Tammy has run up to Chicago. Summer's running the Chicago Marathon.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah.
Good for her.
She got in from, I guess basically it was a fundraiser type thing that she's able to go. And so she had to raise a certain amount of money, and I guess she did. But they're heading up there. The run is on the 13th. So they're right at that point this weekend. So she's really excited. You know, Tammy's going home. She sees her kids and going to see Summer do the marathon and all that. So
that's
it'll be
fantastic.
A good time. So that's wonderful. So I'm doing bachelor days, just me and the dogs.
Nice.
Steak and eggs for breakfast. Yes.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Good for you.
It was good. Yeah. Big T-bone and 2 eggs this morning. That was, and some coffee and me and the dogs. Yes.
That's a good way to start your day.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Wish I could do that every day, but, I guess I could, but yeah, the steak was a little pricey to do every day, but it was good. So,
yeah.
How are things up there?
Good. You mentioned the Chicago Marathon that's coming up. Berlin just happened. And it's just been fun to watch all of the people in my run clubs do these amazing fall events. The Detroit Marathon will be coming up that same weekend. There's one in Grand Rapids. This is marathon season, and this is the time for everybody to put their training to the test and celebrate their win during the run. I love it. It's my favorite month of the year to watch all these people doing these amazing things. It's just wonderful.
Well, that's just you freaks up north.
Yeah.
Because the marathons keep happening down in the South. You can run a marathon. Sure. I know the Blue Angels Marathon was in February, and we're running marathons in December in Mississippi. So marathon season never ends. Well, it ends because they don't do May through August.
There are marathons. They're all year long. Everywhere you could find a run. Those crazy marathon maniacs that do a marathon in each of the states. They're lined up where you could run all year round if you could. But October is particularly special, especially for those up in the north where we do have the cooler temperatures. It is the most perfect time to run a marathon or an ultra because the weather cools down. You did all of the training in the summer, so your body has all this wonderful adaptation. So when the temperature just falls just a smidge, I mean, it's incredible what your body will do for you on these runs. So this is a particularly good time of year because mostly all of the variables line up in such a perfect way that amazing things can happen. So it's all year round. It's fun to watch, but October is pretty special.
Yeah, but you can also do a half or a 10K
Sure.
or a 5K.
Oh yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of those every weekend too. So
Absolutely.
this is just a good time to be outside because it's cooler.
100%.
Moving around
yes.
feels good, and wear layers. You can still burn your skin in the cold, and you need to make sure you're drinking plenty of fluids because you do still dehydrate when it's cold outside, even if you don't think you're sweating. But
yes.
yeah, we'll get all into that. But so no, it's cool. And I'm pretty excited because one, we're going into football season, and I love football season. But although the teams I cheer for suck this year, but hey, it's still football season.
It is. It's still fun.
But I'm also, I'm reopening entry into my laser coaching program. So it's one of the things I really like about my laser coaching program is it's a very cost-effective way to get the accountability and guidance and support that you need because it's kind of a stripped down version of coaching. It's still one-on-one and there's a slight group component to it, but it's just a real cool way if you really struggle and you're thinking, okay, I can't afford a trainer. This is very affordable. So I talked about it before we came on, but go check that out because I think it's a great opportunity for you to go into this next season a little bit better prepared. So maybe you're not training for an ultra right now and you're just trying to deal with, not gaining an additional 5 to 10 pounds before the end of the year. And we're going to talk about that today. Okay.
Perfect.
All right. So this happens to be episode 666 of the 40 Plus Fitness Podcast. And it also happens to be falling on Halloween week. So this is interesting. It's the Halloween episode, and I'm going to call this the scariest Halloween ever. And the reason, I'll get into it. So throughout my years as a trainer, and I kind of looked at this, I always saw Halloween as sort of like this trigger moment in a year when we enter what I call eating season. You probably heard me say this before. It's like, this is eating season. So we start with Halloween and all the candy, and typically the cookies and the other treats and things like that, parties and all. Yeah, our group's dressing up. This year we're doing the Flintstones.
Fun.
And somehow or another, I'm Fred. I don't even know how that happened, but Tammy did it. I didn't have anything to do with it. But I'm Fred Flintstone this year for Halloween, I guess. And so you start that. It's like, okay, here's a party, a reason to party, a reason to drink, a reason to eat, reason to do these things. And then we just roll. We just start rolling with it. And we got, in the United States, we have Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving in Canada is before Halloween. But in the United States, Thanksgiving is an overeating holiday. You're with family, overeat. And then we go all the way to the year end. There's all the parties. Companies have their year end parties, whether they call them a Christmas or Hanukkah parties or whatever. We go all the way through to Christmas and Hanukkah, all eating, and then another eating holiday there. And then a whole eating week leading up to New Year's Eve. But now, okay, we're pushing the eating season to start earlier and earlier. And so now I would say eating season probably really starts around Labor Day.
Sure.
We start eating around Labor Day. It starts kind of, chilling down. So instead of eating lightly like we would do when it's really, really warm, as soon as it starts cooling down, we start eating more. As soon as we start putting clothes on, it's like, it's okay. We can eat more.
Comfort foods.
And then, and then pumpkin spice. Okay.
Oh gosh. Yes.
So you're you're pulling into the coffee place and you're buying a coffee that has more calories than you probably need for the whole day. Right there in one 16-ounce cup. And, yes, I get if you like pumpkin spice, it's delicious, but that's a lot of calories. And, so we're starting earlier and earlier, well before Halloween. And then it's running later. So, when they moved to the playoff system in college football season used to end like on the 2nd of January. And now it's stretched out to almost the second week of January.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Super Bowl used to be in like January, and now it's rolled all the way out to almost the first
Oh,
and second
yeah.
week of February.
February,
You know,
yeah.
there was a year that the Super Bowl was on my birthday, February 2nd. And now, because of the way it's all laid out, it doesn't happen until the second week of February.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so it's just stretched out. And if you ever want to remember how old I am, just look at what Super Bowl we're playing this year. And that's my birthday.
Oh my goodness.
I'm older than the Super Bowl. No, I think they actually played the Super Bowl before I was born. But anyway, so I'm about the
Mhm.
same age as the Super Bowl. We'll just say that. But we've stretched that season. And so if you look at going from all the way from Labor Day to the Super Bowl in
Mhm.
February, we're now talking about what used to be a 2-month season
Mhm.
to a 5-month season.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you overeat for 5 months out of the year, you can kind of kiss the 80-20.
Yeah.
That boat has sailed. You're not going to make 80-20 because you've already spent almost half of the year not doing 80-20. So, people will say, well, 80-20. I'm like, 80-20 only works if you do that once you have maintenance and you're going forward.
Mhm.
If you're taking 5 months and eating like crap, 80-20 won't get you where you want to go. Okay. So
Right.
we create this problem. And, so obesity now is at an all-time high
Mhm.
and it's getting worse.
Mhm.
And, when I read Dr. Lunke's book and 1 billion obese people, initially that just sort of shocked me.
Mhm.
And then I was like, well, no, this has been happening for a long time and we've seen it. Because I knew there was well over 120 billion people in the United States that were obese.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it makes sense that it would be 1 billion. We've got a problem. And eating season is not helping that problem. And if you're overweight or obese, you're shortening your life.
Mhm.
And so, we need to do some things to kind of pare this down. So I'm not saying don't enjoy yourself, don't eat the things. I mean, but we need to have, some limits. We need to set ourselves up for success. So I've come up with 5 strategies for you to use during eating season.
Cool.
Okay. So the first one is to recommit to your health and fitness objectives. If you remember the resolution where you kind of wanted to go at the beginning of this year, and
Mhm.
I want to do this, I want to do that. Okay, well, if you haven't, you're probably not going to do it before the end of the year. But this is a good time for you to sit back and say, what do I really want? And then you
Yeah.
dive into your why. Why is this important? And
Mhm.
your vision. Okay. And you put those two things together and you recommit and you say, this is what I really want.
Mhm.
And I want this more than pumpkin spice.
That's a
Okay.
good plan. Yeah.
And so taking the time to commit
Mhm.
before we go into this season, I think can really help you keep your head and not overdo it so much.
For sure. Yeah, this is a good time to come up with a plan and decide where you are today and what you want to accomplish. And always the why is so important. I mean, you really just need to dive into what is the most important thing. And, all of these parties that we have coming up, they're fun, but the best part of it is being with your friends and family, watching those really fun football games, not so much what you're going to eat in that moment. So, I mean, if we can reprioritize that, even the good parts, that would also be helpful.
Yeah. And then the next one, the second one is pick your battles. Okay.
Perfect.
You're not obligated. You can say no.
Yes.
If you keep doing what you've always done, then
Mhm.
nothing's going to change. You'll get what
Right.
you've always gotten. It's just that's
Mhm.
the way it works. So you don't have to say yes.
Sure.
Someone offers you a goodie, you can say no.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the other things you can do, and there's kind of 2 ways that you can think about picking battles. One is you can pick when you splurge and detour.
Mhm.
So
Oh, yeah.
I used to have a client. His name was Alan, spelled with 1 L,
Mhm.
and which Alan is the better way to spell because shorter letters, less writing, faster. But that said, he loved candy corn. Okay,
Mhm.
weird, I know, but he loves candy corn. And I mean, someone has to. They make it and they keep making
Mhm.
it. But who buys those peanuts? Okay, never mind. Okay. Anyway, he loves them. And he used to just really binge on them when they were available over Halloween. And he decided that he wasn't going to do that, but he wasn't ready to walk away from the relationship. So what he does is each year he buys one little bag and he eats that one little bag, but he enjoys the heck out of it. And then when it's done, it's done. Perfect. So he picked that battle and he picked his limits, and it works. It works for him. Okay.
That's awesome.
And then the other is just, setting your limits. It's saying, okay, I'm not going to splurge, but I am going to go out. Friends are having a thing. And it's like, if you say, okay, I'm a grown man, I'm going to go have a grown woman. I'm going to go have a few drinks. Okay. On Saturday or on Halloween or on New Year's Eve or whatever, going to this company party, I'm going to have a couple drinks. Totally cool. I was talking to a client yesterday actually, and she's like, yeah, there's holiday parties coming up. Or no, she's going on holiday. She's going on vacation over into Europe. And she said, I'm going over there. And she's like, over the Thanksgiving holiday. I'm like, cool. And she's like, and I'm going to have a couple drinks. What do you think about alcohol? I said, it's fine, but it's not in line with what you want from your objectives, but it's a decision. I said, you're a grown woman. You can make that decision, but you have to make it from a cognitive perspective of this is the detour. This is another thing. This is not my main thing. And then when you get back on your main thing.
Right.
Now, she has me as a trainer, so she's going to get back on it. I promise you. Because I'm holding her accountable. But you kind of get the idea. Okay, as you look at these things, it's like I'm not saying say no to all of it. I'm just saying pick the ones that matter the most. Okay.
Perfect.
You don't give a crap about football. Don't go to the Super Bowl party.
Right.
Or go, but just don't drink. You're not obligated. There's not a requirement that you do this. And people will wonder and people might ask, but I can tell you this from years and years of saying no, I'm actually really good at it now. When you say no the first time, they're kind of confused. How can you say no? We don't understand. Over time, they understand. You've trained them. So like I do not do shots. I see no value in it. I don't do that. It's a rule. And I tell everybody it's a rule. Someone says, here, take a shot. I'm like, I don't do shots.
No. Yeah.
If it's a free shot, I ask my wife, do you want that free shot they're trying to give me? And I give it to her if she wants it. Or I give it to a friend or give it to, sometimes I'll just give it to a stranger. Like, here's a free shot. It's like, okay. And then I hand it to a stranger sitting beside me. I say, they gave me this free shot. You can have it. You're not obligated to do it. And you can say no. And over time, the people that care the most about you will just know that's who you are. Okay, the next one, this will be the third one, is this is a good time to push on other areas. If you know that the food is going to be a challenge for you or the drinks are going to be a challenge for you, this is a time for you to consider the other areas of health and fitness, like movement, your sleep. It can be for quantity it needs to be for quality and then maybe quantity. And the cool thing about going into the fall is it's darker longer. So it's kind of easier to go to bed earlier and stay asleep longer. You cuddled in your little bed and it's cold out there and just have a nice place to be. So sleep a little bit longer, sleep a little bit better. And then managing stress. This is a good time, we slow down a little bit and just kind of, you're taking some time off, do some stress management. And the reason doing these other things is important is sometimes when we do something good for ourselves, it really encourages to not do as much bad.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
If I'm in the gym 4 or 5 times a week and I'm sleeping better and I'm managing stress, I'm so much less likely to over imbibe at a party.
For sure.
I'm much less likely to choose to eat extra crap when I know I don't need it. I'm not hungry. And so when you start taking care of yourself in other areas, it has a washout effect across your nutrition as well. And just you'll make better decisions because you'll not want to harm, I hate to say this, but the gains of the other things that you're doing. Okay.
Right.
But just realize that, if you push on other areas of your health and fitness, it's going to help keep you sane.
Yes.
When you're making these decisions about nutrition.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. The next one, this is number 4, is zig when they zag. Okay. And this is for the folks that you're kind of a rebel. You kind of got this spirit of, okay, just because everybody else is doing it doesn't mean I'm going to do it. In fact, I don't want to do it because everybody else is doing it. I want to do something different. And a lot of times we say being a rebel is a bad thing, but when everybody else is doing a bad thing, being a rebel actually makes you the good guy.
That's right.
Okay. So go against the grain, challenge yourself. I remember last year, I was looking for a way, being online, you got to have content on social media. And I was thinking, okay, what do I want to do as we go into this season? Because I do want to kind of take some time, spend time with my wife. It's also, we're kind of getting into busy season at Lula. So I'm like, okay, what can I do to kind of have some things ready so that it isn't as hard to have what I need for my social media and have stuff out there that's valuable. So I said, well, I'll do these Twitter card things. And I said, because that was kind of popular at the time. And I decided on this concept of weight loss logic. And so I said, okay, so it's the middle of November. And if you've ever been a personal trainer, this is a period of the year when nobody hires you.
Yeah.
You're talking to me, it's like, no. And so I made a card because I'd done this, like this was that at that point, that was year number 8. So it was the 8th Thanksgiving week. I'm going into Thanksgiving the next week. It was the 8th year in a row that I'd done this, and no one wants to talk to a personal trainer. No one wants to be around one. And so I was like, okay, so I did the Twitter card. I said, weight loss logic. Nobody hires a personal trainer in November. It's much better to wait 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's because, people want to wait till New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. That let's wait, let's get through the season and we'll do the thing. Well, Sarah didn't do that. Sarah saw that post and she messaged me and she said, I had that very thought this morning.
Wow.
I thought, I want to get started today. And then she talked herself out of it and talked herself into a New Year's Day start. Okay. Show of hands. How many people have done that?
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And so she went against the grain. And so she decided, she called me up, messaged me up and said, hey, I saw your post and you're absolutely right. I want to talk about training.
Awesome.
And so she started with me in mid-November and we got to the new year and she had lost some weight. Now I was a little disappointed in myself because most of my clients would have lost more than she did as a normal course. And so as I sat down, I said, okay, well, I'm getting on a call with her and I'm actually thinking I really should have probably done more. I don't know why, but I wanted her to have lost more. That was the average of what most of my clients had done up to that point. 6 weeks into a program was more. And we got on the phone and she was just so happy. And I was like, okay, how you doing? She's like, great. And I says, well, you've lost some weight. She said, yeah. And I said, no, not a ton. But she says, well, I didn't gain weight.
Oh.
And she said, so net, I'm down a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, because she still enjoyed her holidays, but she still weighed less because she was doing the right things.
Right.
Okay. And so she was happy going into eating season and into particularly the heart of eating season and losing weight. And it's because she zigged when everybody else zags.
Very good.
Okay.
Good for her.
And when you're going to do this zig and zag, you should share those goals with your friends and family. So, if your significant other knows, okay, they're not going to drink this season. Okay. They might have a glass of champagne New Year's Eve with me. But other than that, this is not going to be a time when they're going to be just partying and doing all the stuff we normally do. So letting them know, letting other people in your circle know so they can help support you.
Perfect.
They're not trying to always hand you something and say, here's a drink. It's like, no, I'm not drinking. You don't want to keep having to explain that to someone. So if people closest to you know that this is what you're working on, you're doing a zig when everybody else zags. You're doing this thing and you need their support. So let them know you need that support so you don't have this constant clash and feel uncomfortable, particularly if you're not comfortable saying no, as I said before. So you're going to say no a lot if you zig when they zag. But just
Mm-hmm.
realize the payoff is huge.
Huge. Yeah. That's
Okay.
wonderful.
The payoff is huge. Yeah. Okay. And then the fifth one is hire a coach.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A good coach is going to give you some guidance. So you're going into a party. What's the strategy? How are you going to go about this? What are your goals? What if it's a detour, then here's your off ramp. What's your on ramp? How are you going to do that? So you
Mm-hmm.
plan off ramp, you plan on ramp. A good coach will give you the guidance for that. They'll
Mm-hmm.
also provide support. So when something's not going the way you want to, they
Mm-hmm.
can help you. So if you feeling temptations or you're feeling bad or you do something, you slip up, you're like, oh my God, I
Mm-hmm.
just blew it, doing shots with my grandmother. I don't know, whatever you did, but
Yes.
you blew it. And you just need that support to say, okay, it's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay. You didn't destroy everything. It's just
Mm-hmm.
one time. And I mean, if your grandmother drinks you under the table, that's that, whatever. You'll get past it.
Right.
But at the same time, just realize, okay, it happened, it's over, move on. And a good
That's right.
coach will help you through the mindset stuff of getting that done. And
Mm-hmm.
probably most importantly, a good coach is going to help hold you accountable.
Yeah.
That's one of the most valuable things that a coach offers. It seems kind of silly, but having someone there that you're sharing this journey with and saying, okay, I'm accountable to myself, but
Mm-hmm.
I've also got this other person that knows what I'm trying to accomplish. And I want to be consistent with who I say I'm going to be
Mm-hmm.
to someone else. And so that accountability is very, very powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. And as I said earlier with Sarah, so Sarah hired me in the middle of November. And again, it was about providing the guidance and support and accountability. And so her program was longer than just the 6 weeks, but she managed to lose all the weight she wanted to.
Awesome.
But she's like, even she said, more, it was about the inches. But to me, the more was well, the confidence and everything she got. But I'm gonna go ahead and insert that and play that for you right now, so you can kind of hear from Sarah's own words what that was all about.
Sweet.
All right. Hi, Sarah. How are you today?
I'm well. Thank you.
Oh, I appreciate you taking the time to do this because I really do think your story is going to help a lot of people. So again, thank you for being willing to come on and tell us about this.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we started working with each other a few months ago, a little bit more than a few months ago, almost 6 months ago, I guess. And I'd like to go back, and if you could tell us what was it like before you started training with 40 Plus Fitness?
I was trying to do my best myself. I kind of always got stuck certain places. I always knew I needed help, but I didn't know exactly how to go about getting that help for sure. I've always tried to do it on my own, but I was probably at that moment. I was probably in the process of working on things, but I needed help at that moment for sure.
Okay. What reservations or objections did you have prior to coming to work with me? And how did you get past that?
A little bit of fear of commitment because I knew that's what it would take to see it through to where I knew I needed to go. So it was a little bit of fear of that. I knew I needed to invest my time and effort into it, but I guess I always knew I should, but I didn't know if I was willing to go that far with it because I knew it would take, time, resources. So I kind of didn't know what to expect, I guess, because I've never had a coach before. Kind of always knew I needed one, but I was always kind of fearful because I didn't know what it entailed. I didn't know if I would feel dumb or I would feel incompetent with it, or I would feel, I wasn't sure. So it was a little bit of just not knowing what to expect.
Okay. So can you tell us what was it like working with me?
It was very easy in that it was painless as far as like each next step was, this is just the next logical thing to try. It wasn't, you can't do this and you have to do this. It was a suggestion, let's try this. And it was a lot easier taking each step than I thought it would. So it was just an easy, logical progression from one step to the next. I would get a little stuck sometimes and I would need that extra motivation. I'd need that extra kind of encouragement. And if I reached out, I would get it. So it was kind of like up to me to say, hey, I need this. What can I do now? It was actually pretty painless, but it was hard. I mean, it was work, but it was painless in the fact that it was good suggestions along the way that I needed, I think.
Okay. So tell me what's changed and what are things like now?
I feel a lot more confident that if I just keep doing what I've been taught to do, and I just keep listening to all the things that I heard along the way. I didn't necessarily listen right away because sometimes it takes a process to listen to the next thing. I'm confident that I'm already happy I've reached the goals I have, and I know I will reach the rest of them if I just listen and I just do what needs to be done and just get past myself a little bit. Just listen to what words you've said. Because sometimes there'll be days when I'll be like, oh, yeah, that's right. You did say that. Like, for instance, with diet, a day is just a day. You're not going to always, your day's not going to be great every day, but it's just a day. And you go on to the next day. There's a lot of things like that I hear along the way, and it helps me just keep going. So I feel confident. I feel a lot more confident now than I did before.
Okay. What did you actually accomplish? What were your goals and what did you accomplish?
I was able to lose the weight I wanted to, which was part of it, 13 pounds. I did lose inches, which was a lot more important since that time. Not necessarily lost more pounds, but more inches, which means I'm replacing, hopefully, fat with muscle, which is what my goal was, which is what I want to do. I feel like I've accomplished getting past the stupid things you hear that are not really actually accurate about weight loss and healthy eating, like all those years, like, because I'm 56. So it's like years of other things you hear. And I think I've gotten past that. So I feel like I'm a lot more educated in the right way so that I won't make the same mistakes that I did in the past that caught me up. So that has helped a lot, is just being educated the right way. I think that was the question you asked.
Yes,
if you can read.
Yeah, that's
okay.
It. Okay. Would you rehire me, or would you recommend 40 Plus Fitness to your friends and family?
Yes, I would absolutely. The reasons I would is you have to have somebody who has knowledge on a lot of different things, which is not just what works for people, but also the psychology behind it, the psychology of being older also, and like being careful not to be injured. Do the things that make sense. So absolutely I would, because you have to have that knowledge and education that, like, say, I don't have all that knowledge. I don't have all the education. I don't have all experience either, which I think is the biggest thing, is the experience of somebody who's watched different people in different situations, overcoming their problems and getting where they want to go. So you have to have that to build confidence, I believe, to get somewhere. So yeah, definitely.
Thank you. Okay. So here's the question. Are you going to give in to this eating season this year? I want to hear from you. So go ahead and email me, coach@40plusfitness.com, and let me know what you're going to do.
Awesome.
So Rachel, anything you want to add to help people through their eating season?
That's exactly it. What Sarah did working with you, she started and developed a plan. She hired a trainer, got the accountability she needed. You guys worked on a plan and you got through the very last few months of this year instead of waiting for January 1st. I mean, my gosh, that's the exact way I would like to see it done. So I really hope that you get some response to your question. Let's get through the end of this year and start off the year even stronger than before.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the position and ready, then you zig. This is the time. This is the time to push. Mm-hmm. You may push into other things and not necessarily into nutrition, as I mentioned on one of the points, or you might just decide, okay, I'm going to pick my battles and I'm going to go through this and I'm going to try to come out the other side. Okay. Not in as bad a shape, but you don't have to just fall into this like it's inevitable.
Right.
You are grown. You make decisions. And so this is the point as we go into eating. Well, we're well into eating season for most people, but here we are. And
Yeah.
this is the 29th of October as this goes live. So sit down and come up with some ideas, come up with some plans. And if you don't have a plan, I'm here to help. So please reach
Absolutely.
out. I don't want you to get to the end of eating season and be like, oh my God, what did I do? I remember
Right.
hearing Ellen's voice saying something back what did he say in October? Oh yeah. He said, don't do this.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So yeah, you have the power, you have the control. You just have to step up and do it. Get your
Yep.
why, get your vision, and recommit to this, and then make decisions that are going to serve you in the long run.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, I want to say it's that simple. The concept is very simple. The work not as hard, not as simple, not as easy. But when you
No.
do it, you will be so glad you did.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Well, Rachel, I'll see you in about a week.
Sure. Take care, Alan.
You too. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, take a moment to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And if you would, please leave us a rating and review on your podcast player of choice. Next time on the 40 Plus Fitness podcast, Death by 1,000 Tweets, Dr. Jacob Teitelbaum and I discuss how COVID, the election cycle, and social media are destroying your health and shortening your life, and what you can do about it. Until then, have a happy and healthy week.